Hi everyone, welcome back to Earth Star Tarot. Today we've got a pick a card reading. We're looking at what do you need to know about this person, the person on your mind. So we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Pile 1 has the chrysocolla. I did not look at any of these cards before. So who needs it? Anyone entangled in the 24/7 fear cycle propagated by the political media complex and those who can never find the right words. When to use it. When you feel small and vulnerable and are looking for someone to parent you, but then you remember that you are a grown-up. But it's cool because you totally got this. Be your own mama. So that's for pile 1, chrysocolla. Pile 2, we've got black tourmaline. Who needs it? Everyone. When to use it? Anytime you take public transportation, find yourself in a crowd, or hear that sucking sound of a coworker, family member, or malignant demon taking more from you than they are giving back. Protect your light. Black tourmaline for pile number 2. Did I say that right? Yep. And then pile number 3, we've got malachite. Who needs it? The overflowing in creativity but lacking in follow-through, the all business all the time set. When to use it? When the concrete jungle has you disconnected from the earth beneath it. When you've just got to have the money, the power, and all the glory. Come at it with a heart-forward, sustainable energy, courtesy of malachite, and claim your success. So if those are the 3 piles, so we had to be your own mama, protect your light, and claim your success. So if any of those resonate with you, you might want to choose that pile. You can pause the video and feel into which one feels right for you, and then we'll see you over in your reading. You can click the timestamps below, and we'll see you there. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. Today we're looking at what you need to know about that person on your mind. What is it that you need to know before you go forward? And so for pile 1 we had chrysocolla, anyone entangled in the 24/7 fear cycle propagated by the political media complex and those who can never find the right words. When to use it? When you feel small and vulnerable and are looking for someone to parent you, but then you remember that you are a grown-up and it's cool because you totally got this. Be your own mama. And so do a bit of an energy check-in here so you can feel into whether this feels like the right pile for you. So we've got the guide, the citadel with the guide, inheritance, correction. We've got Scorpio, investigate. We have activated earth, power places and ley lines, trust where you're led. And we've got oak. So I'm going to go ahead and read the guidebooks for a few of these, especially for the guide. Definitely need a guidebook for the guide. That's from the Citadel deck. And the descriptions in this book are quite lovely. So with the guide, we've got inheritance, correction. Beneath the thundering echo of a waterfall, a bell rings, clear and compelling, commanding the attention of all close enough to hear. Almost without thinking, you feel your feet turn you towards the waters and the figure beneath. The guide has inherited their position, and the path they walk has been predetermined. It is their role to correct the mistakes made by their predecessor and to set things to rights. You're in a situation that isn't ideal, but it's up to you to make the most of it. Holding a grudge against what led you here won't achieve anything. It's time to accept the cards you've been dealt. Once you're on the other side of this, you'll be better placed to reflect on what you've learned from the experience. But for now, it's time to put in some hard work and push through. Okay, and then we've got activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. Ley lines are invisible pathways on the land along which energy travels. They can be sensed when we tune into them with our subtle senses. Also known as spirit paths, they've been compared to the meridian system of the body in Chinese medicine, and they link sacred sites, stone circles, burial mounds, and places of worship worldwide. Are you being called to travel to a sacred place that your soul remembers? Or to tend the land you live on, to honor and acknowledge the known and unknown keepers or nature spirits of that land? As you connect with the earth and honor its keepers, the land opens up more fully to hold you. The fruits provide more nourishment, and the guardians watch over you. And then we've got Scorpio with investigate, and so part of the energy of Scorpio is the energy of being very good at being very detail oriented and being very good at finding things out. If Scorpio wants to know something, they do find it out. So as the gift, it's got transformation. Scorpio loans you the strength and curiosity to plumb the depths and face your monsters, then soar to new heights and transform the situation. Feel the well within that connects to the collective source. Challenge, question everything, including your own concerns. Jealousy and possessiveness drain your energy and waste time. Before triggering your defenses, ask if that response will get you what you actually need. So the action is take nothing at face value, probe the conscious and unconscious passions that motivate the situation, be aware of the sexual dynamics in the room and what role they play, and prepare for worst case scenarios, but then search for best case scenarios. So, and then we've got oak, and I'm using the Dawn guidebook for the seed and sickle deck. And oak is the first tree of summer. Great oaks from little acorns grow. One of the mightiest trees we have, sacred to gods of thunder Zeus and Thor, starts life as a tiny seed filled with enormous promise. Acorns are a powerful but dormant source of potential, and to look at one, it's hard to imagine what it could grow into. From this we can learn an important lesson, to remain humble, even in the knowledge of our capacity for greatness. Others will notice this and appreciate your modesty. Okay, so if any of that is resonating with you, then this would be your pile. So it seems to me that we've got a call to step into a claiming of yourself. So it might be that you're feeling led to particular places, and that you or your person might be led to particular places. This could be about you. It might resonate for you, or it might resonate for your person. And so there might be the feeling of following a path that's gone before, but having to make some kind of correction to that path. And it's possible that there's an instinct to you're finding yourself in the right places as you go along. It might be that there's an urge to plumb the depths and figure out what's going on underneath the situation, and there's a sense that there's going to be incredible growth coming out of this situation. So if you're stepping into those energies of, self-parenting, mothering yourself, it looks to me as if that's going to, there's activated Earth, but there's also activated you in this card. And if that's resonating for either you or your person, then this might be your reading. We'll go ahead and pull some tarot cards. So looking at what does pile 1 need to know about their person? And pull maybe 4 cards and then get some clarifiers on the bottom. I think I just throw those back and see if they come out again. I'm nervous. Oh my goodness. Haven't done a reading for a little while. I've got 2 coming out at once here. I'll take them. And I think we could fit one more. We'll just have to move the pendulum over. We'll get one more card. And again, I'm just doing uprights for the tarot cards. If the oracle cards have descriptions in the books for reversals, I'm content to do that. But it's funny that I said that, and here comes the Knight of Swords. Came out in reverse, but we're setting the intention to only take upright cards for now, until my confidence builds. Okay, so what do you need to know about your person, pile 1? So the Knight of Pentacles, your person might be someone who likes to plan. They might like to take things very, very slowly and make sure that they've got everything in alignment before they come forward. and they will eventually come forward. It's sort of a bit of a Taurus energy, which is interesting because we've got Scorpio, which is the opposite side of the zodiac wheel, over in the energy check-in. And so the Knight of Pentacles wants to find out the information, find out all the information, and then take steps, incremental steps, to get where they're going. So they would not be rushing into anything. They'd be trying to find out what the best way to proceed is, and then taking that path. They might also be very good at manifesting what they want. So it's possible that they're a bit of a magician, a bit of a master at taking all of the resources that are available to them and then turning it into something great or something incredible, possibly for their own benefit, possibly for the benefit of you both or others. They may have a bit of a sacred calling. They might be an introvert. It's possible that they are going through a period right now of being more internal and wanting to sort of hunker down and focus on something personal, or something that a meditative path, for example, or something that calls them, which is not to be shared with others, at least not yet. But at the same time, they might be in fierce pursuit of truth and communication. They may be very good at communicating, so maybe after they've had a bit of a hibernation, maybe they then have a phase of coming out and sharing information. But it looks as if that would be done in a very calculated, deliberate way with this Knight of Pentacles over here. So even if they're charging forth networking and wanting to share information, whatever they've learned during their hermitage, it's quite likely that they do it in a well thought out manner. And so I do sort of see a trajectory here from there's a bit of a planning element, and then maybe there's manifestation, and then there's learning from that manifestation, and then sharing the information. So you might find yourself with a person, or inquiring about a person who is perhaps they're on some kind of self-help path, or perhaps they have a strong trajectory of their own making. It looks like they have a pretty clear sense of themselves and how they want to bring things forth into the world. Let's get some clarifiers. So clarifiers for the Knight of Pentacles. A whole bunch of cards just came out. I think we'll just take that first one. Clarifying the Magician. We've got the Six of Swords with Strength, Six of Swords, clarifying the Hermit. Whoa. Five of Swords, and clarifying the Knight of Swords. Let's get a clarifier for the Knight of Swords for pile one. Oh, we've got the Star. The Beauteous Star. Okay, so some of you might be, your person, I mentioned they could be a Taurus, they could also be an Aquarius, or a Leo we've got here. Let's get into the clarifiers here. So with this planning energy, it looks like this person, it may or may not come naturally to them to do this planning, but they do have a strong need to do the planning, but it might be that it takes some strength for them to do that, or it's also conversely possible that it brings them strength, that this planning enterprise, sort of setting things in their place, in order, and then pursuing things step by step, that might be a source of great strength for them. When they're able to sort of bring together different elements from their life, it might be that they find themselves able to transform circumstances, so moving from one phase to another. So it's possible that they put this manifestation energy to work to actually move their situation from one phase to another, one place to another. There's some kind of transformation indicated here, and that transformation looks like it might be, there's sort of a voluntary and an involuntary aspect to it, so it's a chosen journey, but it's a journey away from something that has been difficult, I would say. So it's possible that this manifestation energy is, you know, moving your person away from something that they've found difficult into hopefully a better situation. But there's a bit of, you know, they're still carrying a bit of that wounding along with them. In this hermit journey, it looks like there might be an impulse to withdraw because of some ego conflicts. So if this is a person that you're in relationship with and you're wondering, you know, what might be going on with them, it's possible that they might be going into their own energies as a result of feeling like there's just sort of cross purposes, working at cross purposes happening. So maybe they're taking a bit of space, and or maybe they're quite determined to sort of win a battle at all costs, and you know, that might leave the others in the situation feeling not great. If that's you, then that, you know, it can be challenging to be on the other side of that dynamic. And so there's sort of a question here about, you know, the worth of holding out in that sort of battle of wills that may be taking place. And so then it seems to me like going from here to here, there might actually be a bit of it's almost like a crusade. So I almost see a continuation of ego there. But it's possible also that they might feel like through this journey of, you know, going into their own energies, maybe they at that point feel like they've discovered some truth about a situation, and, you know, and maybe that truth brings some wish fulfillment, or a better situation. You know, this is looking much more promising than some of the journey happening here. And so it's possible that your person has a strong need. So they might be somebody who likes to plan, and then who is able to go into their own strength that way, and is able to manifest what they desire while transforming circumstances. But they might have some, you know, sort of ego they might go into their own ego a bit and might need to take a bit of a pause because of that. Or it's possible that, you know, during their pause they contemplate a situation where they have, you know, felt defensive or felt like they need to win at all costs, and maybe out of that journey they're able to come to their own vision of truth and really want to share it. And it looks like that communication or sharing will bring them to a much better place, a place of balance, a place of wish fulfillment, a place of connecting with the greater community or with, you know, others that they're in relationship with. So I hope that's been helpful, pile one. I think we're going to leave it there. And do please like, subscribe, press all the buttons, do all the things, toggle. And thank you for being here, and thanks for supporting the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hi Pile 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose this reading, it was on the basis of the black tourmaline. Who needs it? Everyone. When to use it? Anytime you take public transportation, find yourself in a crowd, or hear that sucking sound of a coworker, family member, or malignant demon taking more from you than they are giving back. Protect your light. And so we'll do just a bit of an energy check-in, and you can feel into whether this feels like your reading. So these cards might describe, I pre-shuffled, and I haven't looked at the cards yet, but you may resonate with the cards regarding yourself, or you may resonate with them regarding your person. So we are looking at, what do you need to know about this person, the person on your mind. And so with that, we will have a look at our cards. Ooh, I do love that card. It's so mysterious. We've got the Masquerari, we've got Jupiter with abundance. Masquerari was hiding your true self in projection, and then Jupiter with abundance. We have lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. And we've got Foxglove, And so I'm just going to read the descriptions for the oracle cards because some of them are amazing. I mean, they're all amazing. But this deck in particular, I find it's just, you know, it's like a entire fantasy universe unto itself. It's like a mythical tarot deck with yet relevance for our modern times. The Masquerade, down a quiet side street, hidden in the twisted back roads of the Citadel, a shop waits for its next curious visitor. Thousands of faces line the walls, masked in every shape and form and color. At their center, their creator, wizened hands painting rouge on the cheeks of their next masterpiece. The Masquerade has made so many masks that they do not remember who they were when they first opened this shop. Each one is an expression of their spirit, their creative heart. Each one is made by chipping away little pieces of themselves to sell to the next customer. We all wear different masks to appease the people around us. At work, with friends, in front of family, each mask is the part of ourselves we think is appropriate in the moment. But by being so concerned about others' opinions, you can lose sight of your true self. Stop changing to fit public expectations. It's time to work out who you are and what you want your life to be. Who is your genuine self? Let yourself be vulnerable and show others the real you. So you might find that resonates, or you might feel that it resonates together with your person. So Masquerade, finding your true self and just being aware of what the image is that you project outward. And then I keep going back to this, and it says protect your light, and then this one says project. And I'm just noticing, I'm thinking of projection, you know, if you're projecting outwards, you know, there's a light coming out of you. And so that light might be an authentic light coming directly from your heart, or it could be a light that you have altered in some way in order to carefully curate the image that is projected onto the wall ahead of you. And so there might be something to play with there for you. With Jupiter in abundance, so Jupiter is the planet of expansion. I will read a little bit of the description here because I find them useful. Although I could ramble on about astrology at length, I think it's good to get a little bit of what the intention of the card is. So this is focusing on abundance. So Jupiter is the planet of making everything bigger. So whether it's, you know, a positive thing or a negative thing, none of the planets are inherently positive or negative. They have strengths or they bring strengths and they bring, you know, what you might consider weaknesses, challenges. And so for Jupiter, it just amplifies. It's an amplification energy. So if there's masking happening, it could be amplifying that masking. It could be sort of to an extreme. If you're finding your true self and putting that forward, it could be bringing you the abundance of, you know, radiating from your true self. If there's a need to protect your light, maybe there's an extreme need to protect your light. Or if you are protecting your light, then it might be that's bringing in all the good stuff. Okay, Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. Traditional rulers Sagittarius and Pisces. Action, think bigger. This scenario requires you to be expansive and forgiving. Deal with it in a spacious, curious, fair, and philosophical way. Think globally, bringing contributions from all around the world. Consider traveling physically or traveling with your senses by listening to music from a less familiar culture or tasting their food. Talk to people who grew up in circumstances foreign to you and get their viewpoint. Diversify your perspective. Engage in abundant optimism. Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, but it can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. Beware of expanding and cramping the experimentation of beginners or crowd-beloved introverts. Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed, and then it also calls out for you to expand your worldview, so reach out and feel at one with the whole universe. And no sooner have we discussed projecting an image that may be truth or may be falsity or maybe sort of a curated aspect of truth. Then we have lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything aligned must go. This is from the Starseed Oracle deck. Things aren't always as they seem. This era is one of uncovering mistruths so we can remember ancient truths. Everything is in a state of recall and realignment. Anything that isn't in harmony with the planet will not survive. This goes for society and the world at large, as well as in our own lives. If you pull this card, you're being called to energetically scan your life for things that may no longer be a vibrational match for who you are and how you've grown. To dismantle the systems and ways of being that once served you and others but no longer do. Some starseeds are here to lift the veil between the seen and unseen worlds, to shine a light on things that are inauthentic or unaligned with the survival and well-being of Earth. To stand for and protect those who don't have a voice. To look deeper and question everything that previous generations did not. Some starseeds cannot tolerate things that aren't congruent. They're here to bring society and humanity back into harmony with the planet and the Creator at large. If we tolerate things in our life that aren't aligned and congruent with it, we add to the misalignment of the planet. You're being called to trust yourself, notice what's out of alignment, and then take the baby steps required to bring it back into harmony. This is no easy feat, but it's so worthwhile, both individually and for the planet. And so it looks like there's a call to strip back that mask and focus on projecting out the truth and let go of what is not aligned. And then we've got Foxglove. Saint Nectin came to his violent end at the hands of 2 castle thieves who beheaded him when he confronted them. Determined not to die away from his home, he simply picked up his head and walked back to his hut, where he finally lay down and died. Foxglove sprung from where his blood fell along the way. Others may try to advise you otherwise, but you know the best time and place for the goals that you want to achieve. Rely on yourself for guidance and meet your deadlines on your own terms. So it seems to me that we've got protect your light, hiding your true self, or sort of being aware of the projections or the masks that you are, shining your light out through, creating, I'm imagining Plato's cave all of a sudden. And so it looks like, you're being called to go out of the cave and see, really what's beyond. Like there's a call to expand here. So whether this is you or your person, one of you is being called to drop the masks, lift the veil, and expand beyond what is familiar and comfortable. And it seems like with this Foxglove card, there's a call to focus on your own intuition about what is aligned. So if anything unaligned is having to be dropped, then what is aligned is, you will know what is aligned. No one else can tell you that. So there's a call to protect your own light by focusing on your own sense of what is aligned and what is not. And so if that's resonating, we'll go ahead and get some tarot cards, and we're looking at what you need to know about your person. So what does pile 2 need to know about their person? We're just taking upright meanings only. I'm turning all the tarot upright for the time being. Baby steps. We've got the 4 of Wands, we've got death. Death typically is understood as death and rebirth, so be not afeared, even as it jumps out at us. And we've got the 2 of Swords and then the Magician. And we'll pull some clarifiers. Actually, maybe I'll pull the clarifiers out now. Clarifier for the 4 of Wands, please. Clarifying the Four of Wands, we've got the Chariot. Clarifying Death. Ooh, that jumped right out. Two of Cups. Clarifying the Two of Swords. And get a clarifier for pile 2 for the Two of Swords, please. We've got the Ace of Swords. Clarifying the Magician. No. Oh, careful. Don't know if y'all saw that, but my sweet little kitty cat just about burned his whiskers off. Attracted to the scent of the bees. You okay? Oh, poor baby. Wow. Okay, we've got the Tower and the Three of Cups came out together. So we'll take both of those. Alright, so some of you may be married to your person, or you may be in a committed relationship. Or it may be that that's something that your person has on their mind. It may be that commitment is something that is being sought, sort of being actively sought right now. There may be some drive and determination surrounded. There might be a ceremony or a ritual that you're creating together, or that your person's focused on. And if so, there's some strong drive and determination working to create that situation. It might be that they're the driving force in the relationship. That could be the situation as well. With the Death card, it looks like there might be a transformation. I'd say also with the Tower card coming out as well, there might be some kind of transformation happening in the relationship or between you or in the life of your person. And I would say that it does seem like it might have something to do with a romantic connection, because we've got the Two of Cups here. So the Two of Cups generally is sort of the beginning of a relationship, the beginning of finding another person intriguing and sort of coming together. So it's, you know, you might have those feelings on your own, but then it's the moment of actually connecting. And so it's possible that there's a transformation happening that is either bringing that person into a situation of connection, or it might be that there's a situation of connection. I'm just kind of reading in from this. There might be a situation of connection already existing, which is coming to the end of the cycle. And so you can see the Sun over here. There will be another cycle, but it's not clear what that cycle will be at this time. So it might be that one phase is ending and another's beginning. It could be that a relationship is ending. If that resonates, then take it. If it doesn't, if that's not something that you're already sensing. Apologies in this sensitive moment. My cat is being a bit of a silly fool. So if that is something that resonates with you already, then that might be a meaning for you. But if it doesn't, then just take what works and discard the rest. It's possible that there's a transformation happening. You know, maybe your person has already been, you know, maybe they're, I don't know, an event producer and, you know, a successful one, and maybe there's some change in career happening that might make more space for a relationship or a connection between you, or, you know, in their life in general, if that resonates, if either of those resonate. It seems like there might be, coming out of this death, there might be a situation requiring balance. So again, that could be career, personal life. It could be the energy of two different people in a relationship. So, you know, with the Two of Cups here and the Two of Swords here, it might be that being in this Two of Cups energy, or, you know, possibly what the death is that there needs to be more balance in the relationship. So balancing the energies or the needs or the desires of both people in the relationship, if it's a twosome sort of thing, or, you know, possibly of more people than that. If there's, you know, you might be in a polyamorous scenario with someone, or you may end up in a polyamorous scenario with someone. Ace of Swords is sort of cutting through to the truth. So it might be that there's this situation requiring balance, and then there will be a quest for, sort of cutting through the bullshit and getting to the truth of the matter, figuring out what actually needs to happen. And then with the Magician here, it looks to me as if your person is very good at manifesting what will serve them. But it's also possible with the Tower card that there might be some manipulation happening. So that's another possible meaning of the Magician. And again, we're not doing upside down. If it was reversed, then I would say that it's a situation of manipulation. But as it is, I'm sort of expecting the upright cards to carry all the possible meanings right now that I'm aware of in relation to the cards. So it may be that, having come to the truth, or having come to the knowledge of which of these things needs to be sort of prioritized. But there might be, it's interesting to me, I'm seeing the 2 swords here and then the 1 sword here, and so that does kind of reinforce the idea that there might be some kind of separation happening, and this might involve you, it might just involve your person in a situation that they're in, but it looks as if, they're going from 2 to 1 here. And then over here, they've got 1 sword stuck in the rock, and so they've sort of taken that sword and they're using it for their own purposes, essentially. And so it may be that your person's on a journey of going from a committed situation to a solo situation that might be what they feel they need for creating the life that they want. Whether that works out for them, I'd say is debatable, because there is this Tower moment here, and so we've got this sword here, and then we've got this poor lass has been spiked through by a crystalline rock as the Tower loses its head. And so the Tower is a moment of intense transformation, sort of inevitable, total transformation. It can also refer to the discarding of what is not aligned. So we're back over to here. So anything unaligned must go. That's the energy of the Tower card. And so the idea being that after what is not aligned falls away, that you can, build a new structure that serves better than what was previously existing. And so, as I was saying, it may be that there's a situation of, if there was a romantic relationship, is a romantic relationship happening here, it might be that the transformation that's happening is one that invites, going from sort of a monogamy kind of situation into a polyamory situation. That's possible. Or it might be that, the actions of your person result in a situation where there's a third party. It could also result in, some kind of community gathering in which, people are valued and welcomed and, in a position of celebration. So it might be that there's something, some transformational work that's happening here that brings your person to a better place, or, brings the relationship to a better place. So whichever of those meanings resonates for you. I feel like these are kind of intense energies to bring up, and so let's maybe just pull a couple more cards and get clarifiers for the Death and the Tower in particular, and see what's going on with pile 2's person. Ooh, we've got the Empress. So the Empress is the energies of fecundity and abundance. It's interesting, she's got the same crystal structures that have spiked this poor person in the Tower card. So it might be that the Empress is taking, what was not aligned here, and she's sort of repurposing them in her own fashion. It might be that there's a strong divine feminine presence, whether that's the divine. My beautiful pile 2. Unfortunately, the video cut out just as I was talking about the Empress, and then I pulled the 2 of Wands as well. And so I believe the salient bit of what got missed was that I was saying that I had I sort of described this as relating to the Tower card as if it was from the perspective of your person, but then I said that I had a strong feeling that the Empress is you in this scenario, and that there's the ability to plan for a better future coming out of the situation. And so I was likening, I'm not sure how much got captured, so I'll just reprise a little, but I was saying that in the Tower card, which I should have pulled out, in the Tower card, the same formations were there, but they were, at a distance, destructive. Here they've been repurposed, they've been brought into a creative purpose, so they're contributing art and power to the Empress. And so that could be your person. It could be that your person is able to pull out of the Tower situation this beauty, repurpose it to good ends, bring it into a position of fecundity. But I was getting a very strong sense that the Empress in this situation is you, and that you are able to extract the beauty from that Tower moment and repurpose it so that it's serving you, so that it's creating beauty around you and giving you this incredible, intense power. So, the Empress is everything to do with the divine feminine. So there might be a divine feminine that is coming out in you, and that's regardless of your gender, that is able to create out of destruction. And so if there is destruction, I mean, the Tower suggests some kind of destruction. And so from that ability to pull out the creative potential of that Tower moment, it seems like there's a movement forward, there's an ability to plan for the future, and opening this scenario up into a good outcome for yourself. So it looks like there's plans ahead and things on the horizon that this character is, able to see clearly and plan for. And so I feel like I said it much better in the previous reading, but of course one feels that way when things do not record. And so we'll leave it there. If this reading's been helpful for you, please do push all the buttons down below, like, subscribe, and thank you for being here and supporting the channel. I hope you've gotten something out of it, and I really, really appreciate the support. So thank you. Mwah. See you in the next one. Bye. Hi Pal 3, welcome to your reading. Unfortunately, the whole reading did not record because my dear phone ended up having not enough space. So I've just put all the same cards out. I've got your tarot cards ready to go. I did shuffle them on camera before, but now we're going to lay them out as if I don't know what's coming. So we started with Malachite. So again, we're looking at what you need to know about your person, this person on your mind. What would be helpful for you to know about them? And so we're starting with Malachite. So who needs it? The overflowing in creativity but lacking in follow through, the all business all the time set. When to use it? When the concrete jungle has you disconnected from the earth beneath it. When you've just got to have the money, the power, and all the glory. Come at it with a heart-centered, heart-forward, sustainable energy, courtesy of Malachite, and claim your success. So there's a need for grounding in this card. And then we've got the Storyteller, Viewpoints, Control, Star Bathing, Light Body, Crystal Grid, Transmission, Activation, the Moon with Perception, and Blackthorn. So the Storyteller, I was noting in the last reading, the original version of this reading, that the Storyteller came out right after the Masquerade in the last group. And so it's interesting because we were talking about projections, and I mentioned Plato's cave, and here we are with some shadow puppets on the wall. And indeed, the message does seem to be about coming out of the cave in the same way. Children gather on the far side of the square, their attention glued to a wooden box, a white sheet, and a lantern. Behind it, hidden hands transform into beasts and people made of shadows, telling stories both old and new that have the children laughing and cheering equally. The storyteller is the conjurer of this magic, the ringmaster of this show, in control of every character and every line. The most important story in your life is your own, but you are just one story in a tapestry of thousands. It's important to respect the tales of others around you too. Rather than forcing people to conform to the role you think they should play in your story, learn to communicate and see things from their point of view too. Not only should this improve how you perceive others, it will help you build better, more solid relationships. So I was noting this this energy check-in could refer to you, or it could refer to your person, so you might see your person in some of this. And then we've got the moon with perception. So there's a need to relinquish the control of the narrative here with the storyteller, and the moon fits into that nicely. The moon, ruler of Cancer, speaks of the deep inner river of emotions, what motivates you, how you experience and express your feelings, and how you nurture and need nurturance. For action, we've got first perceive what unspoken emotional inner calling and patterns drive you. Look to your own moon sign. When you cooperate with your moon's emotional motivation, you'll find it easier to walk in harmony with your path. Next, investigate the needs and wants of those around you. Whoa. No, kitty cat. Careful. Watch out. Oh, yeah, you got it. He's been drawn twice during the same reading, I think. Oh, and now my dog is making sleep sounds. Cute. Okay, when you cooperate with your moon's emotional motivation, you'll find it easier to walk in harmony with your own path. Next, investigate the needs and wants of those around you. The emotions underneath the surface actually run this show. Those primary drives are expressed through habits and actions, nuance and expression, rather than through words. Look for that underground ocean. It carries the soul's energy. Speak to the insecurities that slow this process. Act in a way that helps others feel nurtured, warm, and emotionally connected. Make them feel at home. Tend the food, water, the home base. Like the moon, the energy in this situation will wax and wane, so assess the current phase and work with those cycles. Look to feelings rather than logic to move the situation forward. Notice anxiety, defenses, insecurity, either in your motivation or in those around you, and tend to the fear that lies underneath those behaviors. Watch where the moon is each day in its phases. Align yourself with those tides and make your life easier. So I see a need for relinquishing control, and that's reinforced. I think I'm going to go to Blackthorn now, because we can switch it up, since I do have some foreknowledge of what this message brings. Where are we here? Dandelion, bramble, strawberry, blackthorn. You know where you're going and you've got a plan in place and everything feels like it's on course, but with the appearance of blackthorn comes icy hailstorms, closely linked to, and this is Gaelic and I do not speak Gaelic except perhaps with some osmosis part of myself, closely linked to Kaya, goddess of winter. The blackthorn is a tree of strife that has a different idea of what's best for you. An unexpected change is coming your way, ready to interrupt even your best laid plans. Stay on your feet and be ready to react quickly. One wrong step will see you swept away, but if you're canny and heed this warning, you may still come out on top. And so I see a need to move quickly here. There's a bit of a warning to move quickly. So either you or your person might need to be responsive to situations, relinquish control, look to the underlying motivations, and act when the time is upon you to act. And then we have the Starbathing card. And so my interpretation was that if you're able to be responsive to the situation, then you'll be in a good position for the energies of this card. Light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. The stars are constantly showering emanations onto the crystalline grid of the Earth. When things are in balance, the planet also sends information back up to the stars. Many starseeds have come to Earth at this time to help shift the planet vibrationally, to activate the ancient codes of wisdom that humanity has forgotten, and all of that information is stored in the crystalline grid. If you pull this card, you may be being called to begin working with the stars and the crystalline grid of the Earth. I feel like that sentence was put in there just to provoke some humor. If you pull this card, you may be being called to begin working with the stars and the crystalline grid of the Earth. Some people believe that the crystalline grid of the Earth anchors divine cosmic frequencies onto the planet. You may be guided to journey to particular places on Earth to unlock these cosmic codes with your presence. You may also be interested in a practice called star bathing, which you can find meditations for online. This card commonly arises because you're here to connect with the crystalline grid of the Earth, either in your hometown or by traveling to other places without quite knowing why. It can also mean that your light body, the energy body in its highest form, is being activated. If this resonates, take things extra slow in order to integrate this change of vibration. So there's a call to slow down in this card, which is interesting because the tarot cards that came out spoke of moving quickly. So we've got the Three of Wands, the Knight of Swords, but then they also spoke of taking a pause. The High Priestess, the Six of Swords. And so we're looking again at what you need to know about your person. We've got the Tower, the Hanged One, the King of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. And so I had to clean this all up, but I was able to remember the cards and which position they were in. And so I don't ordinarily pre-shuffle the tarot, but in this case, that's what I mean, I had the choice of doing the whole reading anew, and I considered going to bed and getting up and doing that in the morning. But then I remembered which cards were where, so I thought I'd reprise. And so I will do my best. So with the Three of Wands, that's the beginning of a journey. It's sort of, the planning's been done and there's goals. This person has goals. Your person has things they want to accomplish, and it looks like they have some strong drive to accomplish those goals. So they're heading out, they've done the planning, they're ready to go, and they have strong impetus to go there. And so I was likening these two cards together to the Chariot card. So it's like all of the drive to pursue those goals is, I'm stumbling over my words and I'm mad at myself because I know I said it so eloquently in the unrecorded version of this video. Good, okay. Oh, we got a bit of a glare there, sorry about that. Let's see if we can show you this lovely Knight of Wands. You can see that a little better, I hope. And but then with the High Priestess, it's possible that there's something, despite this drive, there might be a need to slow down, tune into intuition. There might be something that your person doesn't know yet about this journey that they're undertaking so quickly, or it's possible that they need to tune into their own intuition, spiritual practices, and there might even be something that they're not meant to know yet about the situation, or that you are not meant to know yet about their situation. So there's something unknown here, and there's a need to tap into those deeper motivations and the subconscious drives behind things, I would say, before proceeding. And my sense is that there is a journey happening here, or a transformation. This can also be a transformation. But if that transformation is undertaken, or that journey is undertaken with the impulsiveness that's over here, without taking that pause to check in, then this journey might be one that is still bringing forward, something that your person wanted to leave behind. So it might be that they're carrying, they might be trying to get away from a problem, and here they're just sort of bringing the problem with them, unless they take the time to slow down and check in with their own energies. And so that might be leading to this Tower moment. So the Tower can be a falling away of what is not aligned. And in this particular case, the Tower might refer to, sort of going off and being too impulsive without checking in, without taking the meditative pause that's necessary to make sure that the journey is undertaken in the most fruitful way possible, or that the transformation is occurring in the most fruitful way possible. And so it's possible that there's something in these goals that needs to be reshuffled. And the thing about the Tower is it's total transformation, and it can be harrowing, but it also strips away whatever is not aligned. And so, if there's there's sort of an energy to speed up and an energy to slow down in these cards. And so it may be that your person is being sort of pulled between the two, and that they need to be responsive to what is happening in the situation to know which of those two things is called for in any given moment. Your person might have a strong drive to control the narrative of what is happening around them. Usually it might be that they're gifted in that regard, but when there's a need to define the roles for other people in one's life, there can be anxiety behind that. So the deeper motivation might be some anxiety, and so it seems like that anxiety might need to be acknowledged, heeded, listened to, and then there's the possibility of a transformation. This might be this could be growth. It could be a transformation that is necessary and benevolent. I mean, it doesn't look so benevolent in this card, but it's possible that it strips away what is not aligned and gives the opportunity to undertake this journey or this transformation that ends up serving humanity at large, or the planet, or indeed the universe. We've got the Hanged One here, so that's echoing the energies of the High Priestess, so the meditative pause, taking a moment, respecting divine timing. So it may be that there's something that is not known yet, but which will come out in divine timing, possibly after some kind of intense transformation, or a journey across water, I'm hearing in my head. And so the Hanged One it's a call to not act. And so whatever action was sort of being undertaken here, there's a pause that needs to happen here. So if something is not quite aligned, then it may be that that's the moment when the pause needs to be engaged in. And if that pause, if that check-in happens, if the meditation happens, this person might be needing to go to whatever their spiritual practices are and figure out what the next move is. And if they do that, then they'll be in a great position with this Knight of Wands here, or sorry, the King of Wands here. So we're going from the Knight to the King over here. The King of Wands is able to call in resources, has considered all of the options. We've got the Tower sort of crystals here that have lost their intensity. They're surrounding the king. They've all been sort of taken into consideration. The options have been weighed, and the king is able to make well-informed decisions. Is still, a king of drive and passion, and could be, there could be a skillful lover involved. But the position of being in the King of Wands position will happen through this meditative pause, I sense. It may be that your person still remains a bit defensive at the end of that journey, or conversely, it's possible that they could be in a really good position to be successful, but to my mind, the countenance of this person suggests a bit of defensiveness. She does look like she's fighting off attackers. She is outnumbered, but she's got the high ground, and so she's also got these incredible high-heeled boots in the middle of the desert, and she's wearing, the worst possible color for a journey in the desert. She's got a cactus over here, suggesting that she should be sinking into the sand. So I'm just, making fun of the card. Not your person necessarily, but perhaps your person is also impractically dressed for the situation at hand, and yet has the high ground and, one good wand that they can knock the others down with. So, it might be that your person is still, despite the balance that seems to be coming out with the King of Wands, maybe they're still feeling a bit of defensiveness over here. And so I wanted a bit of a clarification about that, and so we've got the Hermit, which is reinforcing this meditative pause that I was referring to. So it might be that your person needs to be checking in with their own energies and heeding their own instincts, rather than just going forth right away impulsively without checking in. And if they do that, they're likely to end up in a position where they can serve humanity. Their gifts might be brought forward, and they might be able to share them really well with the rest of the planet itself. It might be that this is a journey that needs to be undertaken to particular places. And but there is a need to sort of step back and take into account the energies of other people, to genuinely listen and relinquish the need to control the role that other people play. And so if your person's able to do that, then I think they'll end up in this really amazing position where they're able to serve the earth with their gifts. So I hope that helps. That was a truncated, very quick version of your reading, the reprised version. I feel like it's not as inspired, but hopefully you're able to connect with that and get something out of it. Hope it helps. And please do click all the buttons, press the like button below, subscribe to the channel. I went off on a bit of a ramble about how every new subscriber helps build the channel, and is very, very exciting at this stage, because those first 100 are, sort of like pulling teeth. And then I found with my Twitch channel that it kind of has its own momentum after that, and I've noticed well beyond where I've grown my own Twitch channel too, that if you can get up to 1,000, then it just kind of takes off from there. But those first couple of 100 can be a bit challenging, the first 100 for sure, and then after that it just kind of builds on its own, I think. So I've had some strong encouragement with the viewership for these videos, and I will continue to grow the channel as long as there's enthusiasm and the channel keeps growing. So I feel like I'm, getting better, getting the hang of it, little by little, reading by reading. So thank you for being here and witnessing my growth pains. Watch out for those black thorns, and stay tuned into the underlying motivations and subconscious impulses that inform the actions of others, and find out what that story can be when those things are taken into account, because it looks like it is in great service to the earth. So whether that's a message for you or your person, I don't know. It just came out of my mouth. And we'll leave it there. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, all the things. Bye, Pile Tree. Thanks for your patience.